I'm Stephen Trimble, and I am the leader for the Go Learn trip to Centennial Valley, Montana. We have done that 2 years in a row. We'll be doing it this year as well. And it's a wonderful weekend where we get to go to a remarkable landscape and think about how to react to that landscape creatively. So I'm a writer and a photographer, and I emphasize writing and photography obviously in this weekend. But if you happen to be a painter or a musician or want to respond to the landscape in some other way, in addition to listening to me talk about writing and photography, that would be great. The Go Learn trip to Centennial Valley takes advantage of a remarkable place. It's a huge valley right at the base of the Centennial Mountains. It's really the first valley into Montana as you go north out of Idaho. And it's part of the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem. And because it's part of Greater Yellowstone, there is a wealth of wildlife. When we walk out to Sparrow Pond in the morning for a half an hour at sunrise, we are headed out to the pond to see waterfowl, but on the way we might hear sandhill cranes calling, we might see a moose or a fox or a badger. There are wolves and grizzly in the mountains. It's a remarkable place, and you never know what you're going to see. A few years ago, a man named John Taft decided to salvage and save a little ghost town called Lakeview. And he bought up the buildings and renovated those buildings to be a field station, which he eventually donated to the University of Utah. And that's where we stay. So we're in what feels like a bed and breakfast, rather plush, with a lovely dining hall, great food, a chance to mingle at the end of the day during cocktail hour, and live in a very wild place. The Centennial Valley Workshop is not primarily intended to teach you the nuts and bolts of photography. We expect people to come with the basics, and what I am going to talk with you about while we're there is more how to develop your photographic eye, how to think about light and composition, and maybe be a little bit more dynamic and sophisticated in the way that you look through your camera. But you don't have to be a superb professional level photographer. We've had people use point and shoot cameras, even iPhones and iPads, and do really interesting work. Same with writing. I'm not looking to turn you into published authors, but I hope to give you some new enthusiasm for working in your journal. Very quickly, the group becomes a little community, and there's a lot of warmth and friendship that develops, as usually happens when you're off together in some remote wild place. And we have a chance to build on that after the trip by coming back to Salt Lake City and a few weeks later having a gallery exhibit at a local lovely space, and everyone has a chance to put their best work from the weekend up on the wall, either photographs or short poems and maybe a little bit of each. And we gather on one of the Friday night gallery strolls for the opening of that exhibit and celebrate our time in Montana.